Here's a wire with Symbiote there from Hall.
Dark Confidant, one of the best cards against elves, too. Not a matchup where they're really going to punish you for your life total. It can come up, but it's rare. And the steady stream of removal and counter spells is just what Jim needs.
Nettle Sentinel, the follow-up play. And Jim is going to cast a Daze. Does not want that Nettle Sentinel in play. And we're going to go back Davis's way. Take a look at the trigger from Dark Confidant. It is a Wasteland. And now the draw step. I believe is a Murderous Cut. So not bad here for Davis.
Yep, good mixture of removal, disruption, a clock. This is the type of start that Jim wants.
Wasteland will take care of the Bayou. Deathrite Shaman. Going to go after that land. Marsh Casualties. Takes care of Wirewood Symbiote. Now here comes Dark Confidant. Jim just wants to keep it all clear.
Yep, as much as he can keep the board contained. Gives him more time to maximize Dark Confidant. Still gets to leave Murderous Cut left over in his hand. And Christopher's hand, not very good. A natural order and 2 lands.
Deathrite Shaman going to come in. Pass that turn back. Davis will reveal Dark Confidant. Take a draw step. Brainstorm is what he's found.
And we talked a lot about the importance of Visionary plus Symbiote in this matchup. Dark Confidant is that interaction all rolled into one card.
Two Brainstorms in Jim's hand right now, so we'll see if he wants to cast one or not. Does have the Murderous Cut that he can play. Card that's been impressive for him all weekend.
Yep, there's definitely only so many of those kind of effects you can play, but they are quite powerful.
Oh, there's the cut. In comes the Dark Confidant. Hall going to go down to 16.
So cut not in the main deck for Jim. I'm curious, is that, you know, a concession to the presence of Dark Confidant? He's already got Force of Wills, and how many expensive spells can he really afford to be playing alongside Dark Confidant? But post board in these kind of matchups where his life total is pretty close to a freebie, they are extremely powerful.
Brainstorm and Deathrite Shaman, the reveals there to Dark Confidant. Jim now drawing 3 cards a turn. Good, clean living.
So right now, with no counters in hands, if he spends his time doing something other than thought seizing and trying to advance his board, it's possible Natural Order could steal this if Christopher has brought in Progenitus. You can sit behind and hope the Dark Confidants just kill Jim, and if he ever gets to 10 or lower, you just attack.
Here's a Brainstorm. 3 cards coming for Jim. Abrupt Decay, Daze, Scalding Tarn.
Daze is awesome here as now he's got protection against Natural Order next turn. That's a big, big help.
Two cards going to go back. Brainstorm and Deathrite Shaman. There's a Tarn. Sacrifice that. Underground Sea gets searched up here from Jim. Now there's a Thoughtseize. Get an idea of the hand. Natural Order is going to go to the bin. Cradle will stay in hand. The follow-up. Likely to be an Abrupt Decay, and it is. Get that Deathrite Shaman off the battlefield. Keep it clear for the Dark Confidants.
Yeah, just let nothing stick. Keep the path clear.
It would take one heck of a string of cards, as there's a Verdant Catacombs. Davis will untap. Some Dark Confidant triggers are going to go on the stack. Delver's Secrets. Deathrite Shaman. Take a draw step. Force of Will. The ordering there, pretty nice.
You saw Jim pause there. I think he was contemplating a Brainstorm, and I think that if the first card that Jim revealed there was Force of Will, he might have brainstormed in response to the second trigger to make sure he didn't take too much damage. But with the Deathrite Shaman in play and green mana to activate, I don't think he was ever really at risk of dying to Confidant triggers.
Delver Secrets and now Deathrite. And just a passing of the turn. Hall going to sacrifice the Verdant Catacombs. They're going to 7. Likely to find a Dryad Arbor here, so there that is.
Christopher now dead on board, essentially.
Essentially, yes.
Even Progenitus entering play would not be enough.
I'll take a draw step. Another copy of Guy's Cradle. Likely his last draw step of this game. He'll pass the turn back as Jim will activate Deathrite Shaman.
I guess there's still the hope of 2 Force of Wills being revealed to the Dark Confidant.
Yeah.
So might as well play it out.
And that hope is out the window. As here's a brainstorm from Jim. He'll draw 3. Deathrite Shaman, Marsh Casualties, Flooded Strand. He'll put 2 back here to ensure that Dark Confidant does not kill him.
Yeah, he can put deck, land, and then Daze, reveal first to Delver, then to the Confidants.
There's the reveal. There's that. Here's this. Christopher All just picking up some information on his way out of the game. Everyone's going to attack, and that's going to do it. Jim Davis going to win game number 2 here over Christopher Hall. Salted Delver and Elves will play a 3rd and final one here.
Not surprising for Jim to pick up one of the post-board games on the play. Got a lot of good sideboard cards, especially those Marsh Casualties. And interesting, you saw Jim's sideboard there. He had removed the Tarmogoyfs from his deck. A lot of people assume that Tarmogoyf never gets cut, but against a deck like Elves, I think he's much better served trying to win with either Flyers, True Name Nemesis, or Deathrite Shaman, because attacking on the ground is very challenging to do against Elves.
We'll take a look at the sideboards here. On Christopher's side, since he'll be on the play, you've got that in front of you.
3 Cabal Therapy, 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Meekstone, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Pithy Needle, a Scavenging Ooze, a Progenitus, and a Choke. I am a fan of the Meekstones in this matchup. Does cold a lot of Jim's deck. I don't think he wants to discard spells. I think Abrupt Decay is kind of already covered by the Meekstone effects. I think the 1 copy of Progenitus and the 1 copy of Scavenging Ooze can come in here. Jim does rely on his graveyard, and playing with a fair number of creatures, Scavenging Ooze has the potential to be okay. The Progenitus is very challenging for Jim to answer. He's not flush with either effects. And the 1 Choke here is okay against Jim's deck of all islands. Now, Jim's deck is pretty aggressive. He can operate from below base. He has Deathrite Shaman, so Choke is not lights out, but probably still worth having 1 copy.
Other side of things here for Jim, a Maelstrom Pulse and Abrupt Decay, 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Divert, 2 Marsh Casualties, Grafdigger's Cage, Force of Will, Flusterstorm, Vendilion Click, a Needle, a Surgical, and a Murderous Cut. We already saw Marsh Casualties, Murderous Cut in the deck.
Cheap removal, cheap interaction, the Grafdigger's Cage to shut down Natural Order, and Green Sun Zenith. I think Vendilion Click is solid in this matchup too. Jim's obviously in the market for more Flyers since he's cut Tarmogoyf from the deck entirely. So the removal spells, the cheap interaction, the extra Force of Will, and the Click.
Well, game number 3 going to be underway here in just a moment. While we wait, we'll talk about the Wolves that are on lapels and how you can get tokens of them. It's SCG Game Night here in February.
Yeah, you're seeing the February kit here that involves foils and pins. We send out these kits. You can give them out once a week to your players, showing up any night of the week, any format you'd like. Too late to get signed up for February, but if you'd like to get signed up for March, come over to StarCityGames.com/game night or contact your Star City Games organized play representative.
Buddy the Wolf has been suggested. Boomer the Wolf. What's yours?
My name is Mittens.
Mittens the Wolf. I'm not. It's just, I don't like Mittens. Just gonna be honest.
Okay.
No reason not to be honest. I don't like
What about
Mittens.
Boots?
Boots will play. Boots will play real good. I like Boots the Wolf.
Okay. Just frolicking, hanging out, just enjoying nature.
Seems like a happy wolf. A little 2-2 action. Huntmaster. Where's the Huntmaster? Huntmaster should be in the background of that picture. Boom.
The Huntmaster already got shocked. The wolf is left over. Now,
Oh, okay.
having to find its own way in the world.
Gotcha. Just all by its lonesome.
Not quite aware of the dire future that it faces.
I see. That's why it's so happy.
Right. Oblivious.
Aren't we all?
There's an analogy here, yes.
Every week in February,
Happily just hanging out.
as we head back to the match. Both players are going to take a look at each other's deck list and get ready for this third game. Ben Weinberg waiting in the wings to hopefully tendril someone out. That's what he's thinking. He's done it to quite a few people this weekend.
And as we mentioned, definitely hoping that Christopher can get game 3.
Yeah. He would prefer not to play against Jim.
Also, with time a concern, probably interested in playing the much faster matchup, as the roads are breaking down.
Oh, he's in the hard lock.
Jim gonna give it a wash.
He's in the hard lock. Well, okay, I suppose they said that I-70 is open, which means that Ben could make it back to Cincinnati. That's where he lives. As a Midwest native, I know the roads around here.
Pronounce roads.
Roads.
Okay.
So it's conceivable that Ben could make it home tonight. Though, I think it's better to just maybe call it quits. A lot of hotels that are nice down here in downtown Indy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a great downtown. Definitely an underrated convention city.
Go ahead and get himself some dinner at Champs.
Probably avoid Champs.
You don't want to... What do you have against Champs?
Do we need to go into this? I mean,
I think they did a nice job yesterday.
Yep. It was... service was bad, food was bad. We did get seated quickly, which was nice, I suppose.
That's because no one was there.
Yeah. There's a reason why we were seated so quickly and our food came out so fast. It was empty.
I see. The chicken wings that I had, I don't think that one of the sauces was blood on the menu,
Yep.
but
A little undercooked. Glad you made it here today, because food poisoning was in play. Absolutely. Another sponsor down.
yeah, it's tough. Tough to watch.
Sorry, Champs.
Who knows? We're actually grateful.
Yeah. Listen, average doesn't mean below average. It means average. And we have worse than average constantly. So, you keep on doing your thing. I don't begrudge it.
Me either. Why are there 2 P's in Champs, by the way?
Gotta stand out.
Well, they do that enough.
There's probably some marketing meeting where they were tasked with coming up with some point of distinction so people would know that it was, a distinct thing, and the deadline's running down and they don't have anything, and someone goes, I don't know, 2 P's in Champs? And everyone says, fine, let's turn that over to our bosses.
Book it, print it, put them up.
Good enough. Hopefully we don't all get fired.
Hey, windswept heath is how we'll start game number 3, searching up a forest.
And see, it's helpful for us now, because we know to avoid the chance with 2 P's. If we find a chance with 1 P, maybe we'll check it out. So thanks, champs.
There is a Deathrite Shaman. Davis will take a draw. Dark Confidant is what he's found.
A pretty solid hand here for Jim, but the risk here is it's just a bunch of dudes and no removal. And Christopher might be able to run away with this either with a fast natural order draw or sitting at something like Symbiote plus Elvish Visionary. Dark Confidant's not bad for Jim to have here, but he may be forced to cantrip for help.
Underground Sea is land number 1. And there's a Grafdigger's Cage. A card that, it's clearly good against elves, but sometimes, depending on their draw, it's actually quite mediocre to bad. It just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, people who are capping out on Grafdigger's Cage for the Elves matchup, I think, are making a mistake. You got 1 in your 15, that's great. Past that, they start getting real dodgy. Though there appears to be a natural order in Christopher's hand, so that's great. Cage is doing some work.
Already able to blink 1 card. And maybe the most powerful card in the deck. Misty Rainforest was sacrificed, a basic forest we searched up. Careful about not searching up the non-basics, as Wasteland is a card that is in Jim's deck. It's a Aquarian Ranger. That's going to resolve. This is an Elvish Visionary. That's going to resolve too. Card coming. Progenitus the draw.
Perfect.
Welcome back to SCG Live. Right where you belong.
If we had to change the Star City Games logo, I would change it to a picture of Progenitus in someone's hand. Because it's honestly shocking how often it shows up.
Not always there when you call, but always on time, Progenitus.
A hand of 6 different elves of Progenitus. Yeah. Something like that would be the logo I would suggest. Just popping up from under the sea. Did someone call? You signed me in. I thought you might want me to show up.
You pour it in to draw it. That's typically what you do with your sideboard cards. You draw them.
Hey, guys, where's the party at?
That's the plan. I figured since you can't search for when Graph Trigger's Cage is in play,
Right.
Here I am.
Yep.
There's a tropical island. Here's a Dark Confidant. It's like clockwork.
Yeah,
that
it
thing
is
shows
clockwork.
up. Christopher Hall, just another victim of Progenitus.
Attention Magic players, this is just a reminder that the StarCityGames.com sales booth will be closing at the end of this round. So if you're looking to sell,
It is just so shocking.
or finalize any trade credit, please do so before the end of this round. Thank you.
Wirewood Symbiote. Gonna get that engine online. It's a good one. The old Wirewood plus Elvish Visionary engine. We've seen it win so many times here on the Open Series.
Particularly good against Jim's deck in general, and particularly this draw where he doesn't have creature removal to break this up. Jim already has a lot of the shenanigans checked with the Graph Digger's Cage, but this is a way to generate a lot of value.
Deathwatch Shaman gonna remove that Windswept Heath. Aquarian Ranger. Gonna untap Deathwatch Shaman. Pick up a forest, replay the forest. That's the land for the turn for Chris. Pick up the Elvish Visionary. Replay it. Visionary's gonna resolve. Draw a card. Hello, ladies. Guy's Cradle. Can't play that land this turn. Already played that forest.
And nothing to do quite yet with the Cradle, as the natural order, again, shut off for the time being through Graph Digger's Cage.
Aquarian Ranger was upside down. Now it's sideways coming into the red zone.
Upside down and sideways.
Yes. David's going to take one. Follows the Nettle Sentinel.
And this is also not a bad plan here from Christopher, just overwhelming Jim in the meantime with combat, especially with Dark Confidant in play. Might actually be able to tax his life total.
Scalding Tarn the reveal. Dark Confidant the draw. Jim needs some help in a pretty serious way now. Brainstorm will bring 3 cards Davis's way. Force will Brainstorm and Scalding Tarn. 2 cards going to go back.
Force of Will, nice pickup here, allowing Jim to potentially protect the cage if Christopher finds something like Reclamation Sage. In the meantime, Christopher doing a good mixture of generating some card advantage and playing to the board.
There's the Tarn. Sacrifice that. Make it a perfect Brainstorm. Underground Sea, the weapon of choice here for Jim. He's got a lot of work to do. You're going to take better Brainstorm than that to get him back in this thing.
Well, if he can actually get a Deathrite Shaman into play, he can start blocking a lot of Christopher's board. But then he needs removal spells on top of that. For example, I don't think his turn can just be deploy another copy of Dark Confidant unless he's committed to blocking.
Ian lost.
There's Ponder. Take a look at the top three. Force Will, Dark Confidant, and the mighty Marsh Casualties. That could be the big plan all along.
Have a hard time seeing Jim shuffling away this.
So he wants to set it up because he does have a Dark Confidant in play.
He does not want to draw Force of Will.
No. Jim wants to make sure that he did this right because he doesn't want to reveal Marsh Casualties either. So Dark Confidant's going to be on top.
Right, it's the same amount of life, and it conceals the Marsh Casualties.
So he's got it all set up how he'd like it. See if he wants to play Deathrite Shaman this turn too. Looks like he does, and he will. So the nice thing here for Jim is that he doesn't have to worry about getting killed by Natural Order this turn.
Yep.
Due to that Graph Trigger's Cage being in play, so small victories here.
Even if it got tagged with a Prep Decay, he'd be able to Force of Will the Natural Order.
Yep.
So he's pretty well set up here.
A Bayou the draw. Well, we know Christopher has a Cradle. That one's probably more attractive. But he'll go with the Bayou.
Standard IQ players, that is time in the final round of Swiss.
There's Nel's Visionary.
Time, standard IQ players. Please end the current turn and begin the additional 5-turn extension.
Curious to see if this is where Jim draws the line. Tries to stop this interaction.
I could certainly see him doing it here. There's Force of Will, removing Force of Will.
I like drawing the line there, especially when you're trying to set up Marsh Casualties. That's the thing that gives Christopher kind of the buffer.
See what the play is going to be now. Deathrite Shaman has removed a land. Wants to go with a different land, sure.
Yeah, trying to beat down here.
That'll Sentinel into the red zone. I would be surprised if Jim has any interest in trading.
Well, particularly because he put the Marsh Casualties down the second card. Now I don't think he can block. Because next turn he's looking at Marsh Casualties with the kicker.
Yep. I'll take Arnell Sentinel and Deathrite Shaman. Grand Ranger going to untap, pick this up. Sorry to play the land for the turn. This might be another creature he gets to sweep away. Yes. That'll Sentinel.
Yeah, this is a really solid turn here for Jim.
He's done a nice job of concealing all this information. Jim will reveal Dark Confidant. He'll take 2.
Although now the complexity is all the lands have been stripped out.
What do you mean?
Well, the Deathrite Shaman has stripped all the lands out of the graveyard.
Sure, sure.
So it's no longer a source of mana this turn.
Sure.
Which means Jim does not have 5 mana.
That does make things a little bit more problematic.
I mean, he doesn't want to take any more hits here. He's at 11. Looking at more Dark Confidant triggers, or he's trading, which you don't really want to be trading while you're setting up Marsh Casualties. You want as much stuff left over as possible.
Brainstorm. 3 coming. Shortly, 2 going back. But we'll take a look at the 3 first. A Daze, a Deathrite, and a Fetch land. So Jim's going to put 2 cards back here pretty quickly.
And Jim is a little bit loath to shuffle at this point because he wants as much information as he can possibly get as it relates to his Dark Confidant reveals. Because again, his life total is a resource that's starting to add up. He's taking some hits here. He's looking at taking more hits next turn inside of combat and potentially through Deathrite Shaman.
Please have your deck sorted and organized and bring it over to the deck checks area.
Brainstorm done resolving. Yeah, those Nettle Sentinels will be chipping away. Scalding Tarn comes into play. Jim looks like he might cast another Dark Confidant.
If he's doing that, I feel like he's committed to blocking with at least one and possibly both.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me too much. Looks like he's going to sacrifice the Scalding Tarn, at least he wants to. He's at 11 right now. This will bring him down to 10.
And then he's completely uninformed about his Confidant triggers, too, which would make him even more inclined to block with at least one of them.
Yeah, I don't think he wants both in play.
Yep.
Going to get a Tropical Island.
Force of Wills, Murderous Cut. There's some big reveals in his deck here. And he's looking at Deathrite Shaman potentially getting activated a couple times on the other side of the table next turn on top of Nettle Sentinel hits. But he also wants to leave himself enough resources where when he does March Casualties, he's got enough left to win the game.
Yeah, you can win the game after that. I think that's the big plan. Set up a great March Casualties that can allow him to win the game. He might even leave green mana up here with Deathrite Shaman just so he can gain life.
Sure.
And as you mentioned, block with one Confidant, potentially two. And there is Bobby. Here's another Deathrite. So he's clogging things up. Again, making it look like, to the best of his ability, that he does not have March Casualties, which he does have, along with the Wasteland in hand. Cradle the draw. You see Christopher's hand, there's a bunch of lands over there, including 2 Cradles, and then good old Progenitus and Natural Order hanging out.
Yeah, 3 lands, an uncastable Natural Order, and, of course, Progenitus.
Everybody's favorite Hydra. I bet if I told Christopher he got to draw a Pelucranos this turn, he'd be really happy.
Lukranos would be a really solid draw.
Yeah. Dark Confidant, gonna block.
Yeah, that's the block I anticipated.
Me too.
Leave yourself with one Confidant, but not both. Save yourself 2 points of damage in the meantime.
Do you like maybe double blocking 2 Deathrite Shamans on an L something there?
No, because Christopher could have Abrupt Decay. I guess you could always exile the land in response.
Yeah, you know, if he has Decay in that instance, I think his Decay is just going after your Cage anyway to turn on the Natural Order.
Well, not necessarily. I think there's an argument there.
It's just I think it's really close, right? Like if he wants to get Nettle Sentinel off the table, or is he just saying I'm gonna March Casualties that away, who even cares? I want my 2 Deathrite Shamans for when I'm recovering from the March Casualties.
Sure. I think that the 2 Deathrites in play represent so much life gain because the graveyards are going to be so flush that it's worth keeping both. Because you can imagine the Dark Confidant triggers outpacing one Deathrite Shaman's ability to gain life.
Sure. There's a Nettle Sentinel. Now both players making sure everything is appropriate, as the Elves deck can get a little complicated at times with all of those abilities. Dark Confidant going to reveal a Disfigure. It's a good one to have. Jim goes down to 5. Now he'll have to draw a card for the turn. But I still think the grand plan here is land March Casualties with Kika.
Yeah, and then use Dark Confidant for the beatdowns and the card advantage, while Deathrite Shaman works on recuperating Jim's life total.
Now things could pivot a little bit here because he did draw Disfigure and Abrupt Decay. But I like clearing out all this stuff if you can right now. There is Marsh Casualties the kicker. And that means Christopher's creatures are going to get -2, -2. The Zendikar Limited All-Star.
Chris gets to pick up something here.
Yep.
In the symbiote.
See what creature he wants to save in this situation.
Almost feels like it has to be Deathrite Shaman because Christopher has to close out this game through some damage. And I don't know what else is going to allow him to do it. Because the board's getting clogged up.
Yeah, it looks like he might be picking up Nettle Sentinel.
Race number 1.
Gonna remove a land here.
22 points.
Jim says, I'll actually do that, thank you much. Wouldn't be surprised to see Jim add green mana to his mana pool. Other Deathrite Shaman removes a creature, gain some life, go to 7, so that even if he reveals forcefully, he doesn't die.
Yeah, just do a little bit of exile in here.
Race number 3 with 19 points. Nathaniel Bass. Rank number
So there go the
4
creatures from Marsh Casualties.
19 points. Patrick.
Now there's Deathrite. And it'll take care of a creature, he goes up to 7.
Rank
But now it's time to get on the offensive with Bobby.
Nick.
Down to 18 goes Chris.
With a lot of removal back in the chamber, too. Remember,
Yep.
Jim sitting on Abrupt Decay plus this figure. And a source of a lot of life.
Not only a ton of removal,
Ranked number
but more cards coming every turn.
Yeah, a steady stream. And with two Deathrite Shamans in play, and at 7, he's going to have some wiggle room. So even if he gets some unlucky reveals, it's very unlikely he dies.
The only person
Jim will
with
untap.
18 points, making
Dark
it
Confidant
into
trigger.
the top 8,
Brainstorm, down to 6.
Michael Hamilton.
And Scalding Tarn.
If your rank is between 9 and 32, and if you would like your prize,
Jim also gets really the option to speed up 2 here if he wants to. You can start activating the Deathrite Shamans to drain. And it wouldn't surprise me if he split the difference a little bit.
I think he can afford to. We're going to see a Disfigure cast here to get Deathrite Shaman off the table. Looks like we're going to see Abrupt Decay 2 here in just a moment. Get that off the table. He's getting aggressive. Wasteland will take care of Bayou. Dark Confidant Deathrite Shaman going to come in. He's going to use the other Deathrite Shaman to gain some life, but I like the aggressive approach to this. He's drawing multiple cards a turn. He's racing against his own Dark Confidant a little bit. He just wants to get the game over with.
And at this point, it's hard to imagine, just based on the way that Chris plays it, he's going to be able to cobble together multiple spells in a turn. So as long as your Dark Confidant is doing reasonably well, you have a Brainstorm, you're going to be able to spin up enough removal to handle Christopher's draws, even if he draws reasonably well.
Both players making sure life totals are correct before going back Christopher's way. Chris will draw a card. Green Sun Zenith.
That's just a delightful hand. Two cradles with no creatures in play, a Zenith and a Natural Order against a Cage, and then the Progenitus.
Magic can be a humbling game sometimes.
Right.
Deathrite Shaman activation. Jim will gain a little bit of life. We'll see a revealed Dark Confidant. It's a Delver of Secrets. Down to 7. Take another card with him. It's an Abrupt Decay. Davis turning the corner, looking to close it out.
I don't even know if he really needs to Brainstorm here, even.
This hand's so good.
Yep.
This is one of those instances where he can just play Delver, I believe.
Attack with Dark Confidant, lead back the 2 Deathrite Shamans.
Yep. Split the difference, as you mentioned, if he wants to. There is the Delver. Here's the attack with Dark Confidant.
And here's the thing, when Ellis gets to spots like this, it's not really equipped to catch up.
Yeah, there's no coming back.
The only thing you can do is try to cheat Progenitus into play.
Misty Rainforest. Pass the turn back. Because a lot of the time they're out here is something that involves natural order, but Cage has just closed that off. So it would take a heck of a string of cards here as Jim's going to gain some life, make sure he's out of range of losing.
Especially with Progenitus in hand. I
Yeah.
mean, there's not a lot to be done here.
Jim will untap. 2 triggers on the stack, 1 for Dark Confidant, 1 for Delver of Secrets. It's a Thoughtseize, which means that Delver will flip into Insectile Aberration, and Jim will take 1. Draw another card. We might see him cast Thoughtseize, might not. Chris has been holding cards for a little while, so Jim might be thinking, what do you have in your hand? But I think you might be able to figure it out, too.
Yeah.
Here's a Brainstorm, 3 cards coming for Davis.
You can, at this point, comfortably guess at least 1 card that's locked out by Cage.
If he doesn't want to look with Thoughtseize, he can look with Dueling Click.
Yep.
Yes, he just drew that. So you might just be a little unsure. So 2 cards back, Thoughtseize among them. There's a Wasteland.
Get that in before combat so Chris can't go find a Dryad Harbor.
Would be tough anyway thanks to
Grafdigger's
Grafdigger's Cage. Haul down to 8. He'll take a draw. Might be his last draw of the tournament. Looks like Jim's going to sacrifice his Scalding Tar and go down to 9. We might have him Dueling Click here at some point.
Is that a Ren's Run Packmaster? Yep.
Yeah, it is. Thought you were joking.
Oh, there's one in here.
Yeah. Jim wants to see it.
The final humiliation is definitely champion and elf. That hand is ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
It's tough to go out this way. Oh, Jim's going to let him keep him.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can have him. You can have him. That's fine.
Just an incomprehensibly horrible hand.
Sometimes you just can't help but laugh. This Packmaster is the cherry on top of a horrible 5-card hand. Now Jim's moving.
Yep.
He knows the coast is clear, fastest I've ever seen him play as he moves into the red zone. That's going to do it. Jim Davis is going to win this match here over Christopher Hall, 2-1. Saltite Delver will take care of Elves, and that means that Jim Davis and Ben Weinberg will be our final match. Saltite Delver versus Storm.
As you imagine, or as you mentioned, rather.